Your journey has brought you to the ruins of Nescoven, an ancient place rumored to house a lost tome containing unimaginable arcane secrets. The ruins' maze-like corridors would cause any ill-prepared explorer to become lost, but you were lucky enough to snatch a map from an ignorant merchant in the nearest town. You walked out into an overgrown atrium and spot your prize. Suddenly, hearing movement all around, you draw your weapon to find inky black puddles creeping towards you. It's far too late now. What's up, guys? My name is Jake. I'm going to teach you how to make some of these awesome little black pudding miniatures for your tabletop role-playing games. So the first step basically is to take these little bases here. I kind of had these laying around. They're from the OOZE Marvelous Miniatures. And then you're going to take your hot glue gun. This is my state-of-the-art hot glue gun. And you want to put a little dab, just like in the center there. And once you get enough of a little glob there to start, this is going to kind of act as your base, so to speak. And from there you can just keep adding more on top until it cools. So go ahead and just keep adding more glue on until you get a nice size of a glob like this. Ran out of glue. Recharge. Alright, so as you can see here, I've kind of piled it up further, being careful not to burn your fingers, because this will pool over the edge of your starting base if you're not careful. And from there, you are just going to keep building and building more glue on top. Alright, so here's where the magic happens. You're going to want to put a little bit more of a glob on and get it kind of hot. And from there, you can just take your base and hold it upside down and let gravity do all the work for you. You'll see that it'll kind of begin to goop down and make this kind of pseudopod dripping kind of effect. And we want it to harden like that, which is kind of challenging because if your glue is super hot, it's just going to keep pooling up. But you can kind of combat that by lightly blowing on it. And from here on, you're just going to keep adding more and more glue on top of your previous pile of goop. And don't forget that each time you add more glue, you can hold it upside down and continue to get that awesome like gravity drip effect. I'll speed up the video here. You can kind of see how you have to keep turning it upside down and back and forth to sort of guide the glue in the direction you want it to form. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add some more glue here to the base. This is just to kind of make the entire base look like it's just one giant blob. And that's kind of the effect I'm going for here. So you can kind of see here I'm turning it and letting it drip and turning and letting it drip. I'm trying to get the pseudopod arm to kind of be angled so it looks like it's attacking your unfortunate party members. And to do that you have to kind of goop it out straight down and then let it curve. But if you let it curve too much, it'll collapse on itself and then it'll just have this awkward mound. So it's a very delicate balance. You'll see once you start using your glue. And then from there, what I like to do is take the hot end of my hot glue gun and kind of tease around the base and tease around the side to just give it a little bit more of a texture. Got butterfingers here dropping my glue pile. If you get a little bit of glue on the side of your base, you can just take your nail and scratch it off once it's dried. That's what I was doing there. And now with the extra bases, since a typical black pudding is considered a large size creature, I'm going to make a few other smaller ones because it will split off. So another cool thing I've learned and this was an accident, is if you have a strand of like your glue, like those little strings that come off, if it's still hot, you can kind of pull it and it will give this cool kind of teardrop tentacle shape. Just be gentle when you're pulling, because if you pull too much, you'll pull all of the glue off. But if you do just enough, you can kind of twist your glue into this cool little form. And from there, take your hot glue gun end and use that to kind of melt off the string. And it'll leave this awesome effect of a tentacle pseudopod arm. This could probably be a good option if you're trying to make some sort of tentacle arm for like a kraken or some other large tentacled monster. But I'll go ahead and speed up these parts too so you can see the process with these miniature ones. And here you go. This is kind of what they'll look like once the glue has dried and you've kind of formed them into the ideal black pudding that you want for your tabletop. So the next step is to take any old black craft paint you got laying around. You want to get a little bit of water on that just so it can flow a little bit better, and just take any brush and just paint the whole thing black. You could probably use some dish soap or something here to help it flow into the crevices. I also built this bigger black pudding. This is the actual main size large one, and I didn't make it an actual like proper size for standard D&D tabletop, so I wanted to make it be that 10 foot by 10 foot square, well I guess in this case circle. So I went ahead and added another layer of hot glue and kind of extended its pseudopod arms out here. And here you can see it after the paint has dried completely, well for the most part. Still a little bit of wet spots on there. It'll dry this kind of matte finish, and we'll get into the next step here as to how to make it look more like a pudding. So I picked up this kind of a gloss varnish, and it will dry and pretty much protect the paint, but it will also give it this really cool gloss finish. And black puddings, according to the 5th edition Monsters Manual, have kind of a shiny, glossy, I don't know what you would describe that as, but this stuff kind of helps out with that. You could probably get away with a spray paint that hardens glossy, but this is just what I had on hand. So here's another cool little trick. You can take a Magic the Gathering kind of hard sleeve and just cut it up. Pretty much put the black pudding on that and just glue it around on top. And then once it dries, you can kind of just peel it off nice and easy. And from there, we're going to keep adding that gloss varnish until you get it looking exactly how you want it to look. And once that dries, there you go. You got your own set of custom-made black pudding ooze miniatures. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at how these would be used in a campaign setting. The slick stone steps lead your crew deeper into the depths of the Kua crevice. Something seems off, says the druid. Keep your wits about you. As you make your way to the base of the cavern, you found it. The rumored wellspring of wishes. Peering inside, you see a gelatinous pseudopod rise up and lash out at your fighter. The ranger loses an arrow at the creature and it recoils. Angry, the monstrosity's true form rises from the well and attacks. No more wishes will be had here, it seems. Cool, and there you have it. If you found that video helpful in any way, I'd appreciate it if you go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, go ahead and subscribe and ring that little bell icon next to it as well. And once again, my name is Jake, and I'll see you next time.